This is our sixth podcast with the UppLabs team, and today I would like you to meet our Fullstack developer, Artem Danchenko. Hi, Artem.
Yeah, hello.
Artem, can you tell about yourself and where are you from and your hobbies?
I'm just full stack developer. I'm human also, as you can see, and I'm from the Kiev. I have some hobbies like interested in history, in numismatic, and maybe kind of hobby. And now it's work. It's about the programming and developing. So I'm just like all simple people.
What about the planes?
Oh, about this, yeah, it's like it's kind of my interest and kind of my hobby because I'm interested in the military technologies because the most modern technologies were used in the military. So, when you want to know what will be in the civil life, you can just look what's in the military. And, the first medical help which are used by the emergency, it's by ambulance, sorry. It's like taking experience from the battlefields, but I think it's not so accurate.
And can you tell where did you study?
I've studied in the Kyiv Polytechnic Institute. I was studying on the faculty as programming engineering. Yeah. So, I'm so close with this stuff. But, the most interesting part that after the university, you again need to learn other technologies and all the stack of stuff.
So you continue your studying at your work because many people just have another specialties with some other degrees, and then they enter programming without education. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand you. And, as I said, after the university, there were situations that with knowledge from there, with baggage of the knowledge, you still couldn't go in job which you want. So you should take book, you should take internet and learn again.
Did you get any additional courses?
No, I'm thinking about the courses a bit skeptic because most of the courses, there are situations that if you want to know something, you can get it all from the internet. And these courses where you come in and you think that somebody will teach you, I think it's a bit hopeless.
And what was your job experience before you started working in UppLabs?
I was working on another two works. One, I began working it's .NET Technologies, it's SharePoint. I was working on the company targeted on the USA market. It was mostly about the health. I got, again, experience. I get knowledge. I get friends from there. I think that each job, if you want to develop yourself as a professional, you shouldn't skip them, and all experience are good for you. And second job was at first targeted on the Ukrainian market. Though it's also very used this SharePoint, but also there was mostly ASP.NET Core and other stuff together. It was oriented on the Ukrainian market. There was large companies like Ukrenergo, Metinvest. Each job where you're working and not sitting on your place, you get in experience from that.
And how did you start your job at UppLabs?
Again, as I said, in the first job, I get friends, and one of my friends moved from this job to the UppLabs, and HR manager said that there are available position with Stack of the technologies which I have, and I asked him, he wrote me that did I want it, and I said why not to try, and I tried, and I'm here.
Is he still working here, your friend?
He was working, but then he again changed his job, so no.
And do you like it here?
Talking more precisely, there are always several things you like the most which keep you here. What are the things keep you here?
I think it's because there's not this strict corporate rules that, as you can see, we can work from the home. Also, what I like most is that, first of all, on our company, it's thinking not about the project, they think about the people, because they like listening which project you want, on which project you want to like move next after you will complete this one. And this part is like shows that companies think about you as a professional, as a team member, and they doesn't like in some big companies there's a situation when they hiring developers only for one project. When this project is closed, okay guys, then goodbye. So in this case, why I like UppLabs, because I understand that when project will complete it, that they will like our sales managers will find another project and I can continue working. And there is not this risk in that it's closed and then you need to look another job. So it's kind of stability.
And, what are the specifics of the developer position for you?
This is partly a question of stress, partly a question of your working schedule, partly a question of your ability to concentrate.
Yeah, it's, all these cases that you described, always like, I understand them, and most of them happened with me, but after some, when you have some kind of this experience, some like 3-4 years, you get in these issues, you solving them, and after this you understand what is important and what is not, and you can sort your priority. So about the developer, yeah, I had cases when customers was pressing really hard, even like project manager couldn't help. In this case, yeah, it's stressful, and you could work like about 10-12 hours per day, because it's only because you understand that customer needs this product as soon as possible and you should solve it and other stuff. And from one thing, this kind of responsibility is good for customer, but for me it was too tired and emotionally and maybe psychologically it was really difficult. So after this, I just understood, and my managers, like project managers, said that you should set some time of period and better not to overwork it. But from another side, like as developer, it's this job is a bit interesting and difficult, because each project it's like I mean that there is not so much tasks which you are repeating. Most of the like about 70% tasks you need to investigate, you need to find solution, you need to think how to do it, not just like you're just pressing these buttons and like hooray, soft is working. No, in each case, you need to also think about the business logic. You should like look what you wrote before, so you should optimize it, not just spaghetti code. It's difficult, but as I want to say is that when you solve it, you get in more happiness, yeah, after you complete it, because you just worked hard. You completed it, you're proud by yourself in some case. Yeah, why I like this job position is because also you creating something and you see what you created in some cases. Of course, sometimes you're tired, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're upset because of situation, but after you solving it, you're thinking like, whew, I did it.
And what do you do when you are upset about situation?
I'm just digging in the rock. Your like sadness a bit coming in the background. And when you solve it, you're thinking like, dude, look, you were sad, but you did it. So you should think about it in the future. So it doesn't make sense to be sad all the time.
What technology stack do you use?
I wanted to work as just a backend developer with .NET technology stacks, but on the web layer, like is ASP.NET, ASP.NET Core, and other stuff. But in one project, there was a situation when customer asked to create all the product, and he was need full stack. Before on the first job, I had experience with Angular. Why not to try? I had experience with front end. I have backend, and why not to try it together? And I tried it like, as I said, with backend on the .NET, and on front end it's just Angular. There are two cases. When you're working alone on the project, and you're controlling all the stuff like database connection, backend logic stuff like front-end UI and other things. But there is another side of the projects where you're working alone, because when you're working in team, you get an experience from another developers. You are communicating with them, and there could be some issues which are resolved by them like in the past. So you can talk with them and ask like to help or ask some advice. So yeah, mostly I'm backend developer, but like I'm full stack with more prior on the backend.
But what more inspires you in backend? Because people who prefer frontend say that they like to see the result of their work. What about backend?
And the backend are also result, because frontend can't work without backend. And you understand that people are rely on you. So they ask you like, hey, can you give me this info? And you are just coming to the several databases. It could be on the project like 3-4 databases. And you understand that they can't get it because they doesn't understand this architecture and they doesn't know how to get it. And you feel this power. You just you understand that logic and all other stuff on which base it website, it's on you, because front end is just picture, just like layout.
And how do you think how many years of experience in programming gives the opportunity to become a senior developer?
I had experience when I was interviewing a guy which was working about 10 years on position like manager of the IT team, and he also was saying that he's a developer. He had really low level of the like knowledge. So I think it could be like between 4-7 years. Like 4 years, it's if you're really good in the programming and you are like just getting stars from the sky. But 7 years, I think it's more common, because you was working on the multiple, really like maybe 5-10 projects. You saw like each side of the developing. You was working in the team. You was communicating with them. So I think about 7 years. But again, as I said, it's all depends from the people.
Can you recall some things that dramatically changed in programming, like in environment, in some solutions, in languages and frameworks? What has changed since you started developing?
I'm developing about 4 years. No, I think, yeah, about 5 years, I think I can develop. When you all the time in this stuff, in the developing, it's too difficult to, to see this difference. Maybe the one thing that in the first job I was working with AngularJS, and there was in this time it was like a beginning popular of the Angular 2+.
And how often do you use the Stack Overflow, or do you prefer to some ready-made decisions from an open source?
Yeah, often situation for some simple tasks. Like most of the tasks are already resolved by somebody. But for some cases, yeah, there is some specification of the technologies which are new or really old, and there are no articles about this except some Indians. And you understand that you should take documentation, read, and write by yourself.
What about working in team? Like if you work in team on some project and you reach the point when you are not agree with your teammates, how often do you argue with them if you think that your decision is more correct?
Good team always will listen each member. And there could be situations that somebody will miss something in the logic or in the architecture and other stuff, and one of the member of the team can admit it and will notice on it. So I think it's good when team arguing, because if not, it shows like they are not interested in the project. They just getting tasks, they making them, but there could be some issues which will not talked.
Does it happen often that you argue during your projects?
In my current project, it's happened, but they're really skillful developers which understand maybe like they really know good their product, so mostly like they know each side of the task which need to be done. So in current project, no, but in my past project where I was working with a customer and one developer, yeah, I was arguing because it's not even like, yeah, it's maybe kind of arguing, it's kind of discussion. You're just saying, what if, or like, what if like customer will press this, or what if like there will be, I don't know, like deadlock or other stuff, and then you'll just discussing about it and you looking for solution. It's like, and I think that good customer which like want to get good product, he will agree on this discussion and will say like,
How do you behave if you understand that your project manager does not understand the topic and sets the task incorrectly?
there could be some situation when you're talking with your project manager and with customer, and customer like explain it, but after project manager asks you what customer was asking. Yeah, it happened. Like all people, they need to be polite and explain that in this case they are not right. And if project manager is not agree, better to ask customer than rework, and customer could not agree to pay this time which you spent on the wrong understanding of the task.
Talking about solutions and code you provide, you create, is this important for you for it to be readable and clear, or it just or the proper working is on the first place? What practices you follow?
In the rapid development, on first view, it could be like, okay, we can write it without comments. It's all obvious. Let's develop it faster because customer is pressing. But after you get in some point and customer asks like, guys, can you remake it or rewrite it? And you coming back to code which you wrote, mostly it's become hell. In most cases, very important to write clean code and trying to comment it, because it will help you faster understand why you did it, why you added this variable, why you like wrote it like this, not like it should be. And about practice, I'm mostly using like this solid, not pattern, but as you said, practice, solid practice here.
And did it happen that the client wanted something that can't be fulfilled?
I think that the question not about couldn't be fulfilled, the question about how much time need for it.
And in general, are you always satisfied with your work?
It's a bit philosophical word. It's like work is work. It's not for satisfying. For satisfying, you relax by your hobby and other stuff. Half of time of the work, I'm satisfying. And even when I'm not satisfied, when I'm getting some result, as I said, you're working. Of course, it's not happy, it's not pleasure, but after you create something, after you get some result, you are satisfied and you think that it costed. From problems, you understand that it wasn't good and you need to learn how to skip it, avoid it. And from problems, you are, moving forward.
Have you tried functional programming?
In the university, and I hadn't satisfied from it.
And do you read other programmers and follow some trends, some communities?
No, for me it's enough on the work and enough of the tasks. Like, maybe I'm following only my programmers from my team. There is a situation if you're working too much, it's become really not satisfied to work. And sometimes you should let your brain to relax.
But sometimes inspiration can come from external sources, like if you've heard of some solution, or if you have read some other developer opinion, or some apologists of different trends.
Yeah, sure. That's why I said that discussion with team is important, and it's good when you're working with somebody, because when you're working alone, you have just own like baggage of the luggage of the experience and knowledge, and you can't watch on such like issue, such product from another side. So team is important in this case.
And what was the most interesting project for you?
I think that current project is most interesting because when you're reading some book and when you're completing reading it, you're thinking that oh, it's so interesting book. But then you get in another book and you begin reading it, you're forgetting about last book because you're satisfied by this. Like, so with projects, it's similar situation because if it's not so boring business logic, it's enough interesting. So
And what
I can,
is this
yeah.
project about?
It's about real estate. It's about real estate in the Switzerland, about renting, selling apartments, houses, and other stuff. And because I'm working as backend developer, I'm too deep digging in this like subject. And maybe if I will not work developer, I can go as a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe your working day? Like from the morning you woke up to the late evening when you finished your work? And
Yeah, I'm woke up not so early because my daily about 11 a.m. Then I can make some pause, and I'm really like to work. And most productive time for me it's night. I'm working like from 10 o'clock of p.m. like of the night, and I can work till 4 o'clock. And it's like it's silence, nobody worrying you, and it's the most productive time for me.
what about remote job?
Yeah.
Did you ever want to go to the office again, or you're pretty okay with working from home?
It all depends from the communication. Sometimes there's a situation when like this was beginning of the COVID, you couldn't meet with your friends and you just isolated. Yeah, in these cases, I wanted to go to office and like to see people, not just my cat and myself. But now I think it's more comfortable for me to work in remote.
If not for the developer, what else would you choose?
It sounds funny a bit, but I wanted to be kind of military specialist. Like, like working in the radio, or I don't know, with some technique, you like even just mechanic of the jet or mechanic of the some military vehicles. I know that it sounds funny, but it is.
Great. So if you would like to add something, please.
No.
You have you have your audience in our podcast, but for now it's, I believe, the end. And we're happy we have you on our podcast. We're grateful for the answers we have had, and we hope the team will watch our podcast and know a bit more about you. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you too.